you're really in the trenches. Right? I mean, wow, you have witnessed a lot. And in those times, so that was like what, the 90s? Like that was bare bones, right? You know, a lot of controversy back in those days.
Yeah. So when I finished, when I came back from Georgetown, that was 95. And it was a tough time in Los Angeles. We had gone through the civil unrest. Companies were leaving Los Angeles. We had tremendous levels of gang violence at that time, homicide rates. Crack cocaine had hit the scene, urban. I mean, and it wasn't just LA. I mean, LA was certainly one of the most challenged urban communities in the country. But urban America was, just having an outflow of people, that had been going on for about 15, 20 years, jobs, people, tax revenue. And, we had a historic sort of election here. Mayor Riordan was elected, and just on the he took $1 a year. He was a successful investor, Angelino, who believed in the city, and very ironic because this is a very democratic city. Everybody knows that about our politics here, and he was a white Republican male business person, exactly who you wouldn't think would win an LA election, but he ran on a, hey, I'm here to get this city back on track. I'm here to focus on crime and jobs. And I joined his administration, and it was such a game changer for me because it was such a bureaucratic city. And he said, listen, we're here to make a difference. Don't ask permission, ask forgiveness. Otherwise the bureaucracy is going to stifle you all. When you see something needs to be done, go and do it. Don't wait for the gears of the bureaucracy to slowly grind and get the answer. Go make it happen. And I don't know, I was 26 years old and I listened to that. I thought we were supposed to. I think we were supposed to. And it was great. I was able to do some really neat things in terms of reforms at the city level that would bring more businesses to our inner city communities. I eventually became assistant deputy mayor for economic development. And one of the things that became a huge career pivot for me under Riordan is we said, we're out of money. The city's out of money. There's a recession. The state's out of money. The feds aren't going to bail us out. We got to come up with our own money. So we thought, why don't we build some private sector, some funds that are capitalized by the private sector, and we'll use that money to invest in South LA, East LA, and we had all these shut down defense sites because the Cold War had ended. And so all these jobs that used to produce Cold War machines and weapons, were now these contaminated sites. So we brought in a consultant to say, how can we build some private equity funds that will invest in our poorest communities? And I was tapped to be the lead. I'm in my mid 20s at the time. I didn't even know what private equity was. It wasn't what I studied. I was focused on a career in government and poverty, and that's how I was going to make a difference. And I worked with the consultant, and we brought in some fund managers, and ultimately launched 3 different funds: a real estate fund, a mezz debt fund for manufacturers, and then the country's first workforce housing fund. And I helped kind of put all of those in place with the different managers, working with the legal teams on all the documents and pitching with them and raising the money. And we did raise all 3 funds. They were under the Genesis LA initiative, which is still around today. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really amazing. We're using private sector money to do the things that we were trying to have government do, but government didn't have the flexibility or enough capital to do some of these things. And I did run the Genesis LA nonprofit for a few years to get it off the ground, and it's still around today, doing a lot of new market tax credits and great things. But I ultimately realized that I wanted to be completely in the private sector, where I just had more freedom to create the types of products I wanted. So I started SDS Capital Group in 2001 to be an impact fund platform focused on engaging the private sector in the battle against poverty. So I just did a complete pivot out of government and nonprofit to really change it. Still focused on poverty, but using a different tool, creating a different toolbox.
Right. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up.